So, Jai Hind, students. So, uh, what is our next agenda for the today's classes? We are going to discussing the capillarity and the surface tension, two different phenomena in the fluid mechanics. We are going to discuss today about the surface tension as well as the capillarity. So, let's begin with the surface tension. So, first we are trying to understand what surface tension does it mean. If you see on the screen, we have a container. In that container, a fluid is filled inside the that container. If we are going to choose two different location inside that container, you can understand this fluid is static in the nature right now, is static in the nature. So, if you see the two different location in this container, one place that is the at the center somewhere, I choose one molecule of this fluid. If you try to find out how the cohesive force is going to act, what is cohesive force? The forces which is going to act between the similar molecules. So, if you see the molecules what I choose, so surrounded that the same fluid is in the existence. So, they are going to apply the cohesive force on the molecule. So, if you see from all the directions, the forces which is going to be applied on this molecule is exactly same from all the directions. So, the net force is going to be balanced. So, there is no issue when we are going to choose any molecule which is inside the container somewhere where the molecule is totally surrounded with the similar molecules. Let's choose another place, and that place is nothing but that is the surface of the container or the surface of the fluid in this container. So, I choose a molecule here. This molecule, if you observe, it's surrounded with different type of fluid from all the directions. If you see from the bottom side, if you try to define what the surface does it mean, surface is nothing but it's a partition between two different type of immiscible liquid, can be or some different liquid and gases, or it may be something else can be there. So, it's a, if you see at the surface, there is no fluid at the upside of this surface. So, the molecule which is staying at the surface, what is going to happen? The cohesive force is going to act from these directions only, but there is no force in the upward directions. So, what is going to happen? Definitely, if this fluid is going to be static in nature inside the container, so definitely this force must be balanced. And what is going to happen? Because of this, the force which is going to be act on the molecules, this molecule is going to be stretched down, or it's going to be stretched and create a tensile zone, and the surface is going to be slightly feel like a tension in the nature, and because of that force is going to be balanced. So, it means simply the surface tension phenomena is nothing but it is because of the unbalanced force which is created on the surface when the cohesive force is going to apply in the unidirectionally or in particular directions, not in all the direction in the same magnitude. So, what is going to happen? It's going to be create a stretch membrane on the surface, and that stretch membrane of the surface is going to create a force. We call that force is nothing but surface tension. So, if you just go through the slide, what definition is given here? Surface tension is defined as the tensile force acting on the surface of the liquid in contact with a glass or on the surface between two immiscible liquids. So, it can be anything. If it is container, so it can be two different liquid or some solid liquid or some gaseous liquid compositions in the downward and the upward sides. So, it can be anything, so that you can understand. Now, the contact surface behave like a membrane under tension. These points you have to mention. I mentioned that it's like a stretch membrane. That particular surfaces look like a tension, creating the tensile forces because it's going to balance the forces. So, that's why we call this force as surface tension. So, surface tension is created due to the unbalanced cohesive forces that we understood acting on the liquid molecule at the fluid surface. So, these things we have already seen that. So, molecule in the interior of the fluid masses are surrounded by molecules that are attracted in each other equally. So if you choose any molecule inside the container, so there is no unbalanced force, so there nothing the effect called like surface tension is going to be happen. So these all things we have understood in the case of the surface tension. So if you see the next picture on the screen, this in the part of the surface tension, you see these examples of the surface tension. Because the surface is stretched like a membrane and a tension is created on the surface, so that some of the insects can stand on the surface of the fluid, and the weight of that particular insect is going to be balanced by that tension surface, or we call it stretch membrane of the fluid, and that's why they are not going to dip inside the fluid. It has mass, but that is going to be balanced by because of the stretching of the membrane. So these things we have to understand. So these are a couple of the examples you can see in the nature also. Let's see the way we are going to represent. We are going to use a Greek letter, that is nothing but sigma, by which we are going to denote this surface tension force. So what is unit of the surface tension? That is nothing but Newton per meters. Newton, that we are going to consider as the Newton. It's a force like, you just try to understand the basic of the surface tension. We are not going to take the magnitude of the surface tension force is very, very small. So we are not going to calculate at a particular location. So we are going to choose at least a meter length or meter distance, so that we can have the considerable amount of force which we can quote. So the force that the unit of the surface tension is Newton per meter. So if you take one example for a fluid, that is water. So what is magnitude of the surface tension for the water is 0.0732 Newton meter. So you can see in 1 meter length, of the surface of the water, you are going to get this much force, that is 0.0732. So you can understand how small the magnitude does it. Because of that, we are going to choose the tension. Even the force is going to be denoted by Newton, but we choose for a particular meter length, so that we can have considerable magnitude of the surface tension. So that we have to understand. Another example of the surface tension is nothing but it's if you see such phenomena in the nature itself, you can see that if you drop some liquid on the surface of some leaf surface of any tree, you will find this type of the particle, a droplet of the fluid that is going to be formed. So it has some tendency, it is a phenomena because of that when you release a fluid on the surface of that particular leaf, it's going to be behave like in the spherical shape like a droplet. Why it's going to happen? Because if you release a very small layer of the fluid on the surface, its thickness is very, very small, so it's like a surface. It's like look like a surface. The behavior is exactly similar as this surface. If you see the case of the container in the previous example we take, so in the container the huge amount of fluid is there, but if you take a small layer of the fluid at the surface and just you just drop that fluid on the surface of the leaf, what is going to happen? Because it's going to be unbalanced cohesive force on the surface, and that's because that particular fluid is try to minimize their surface area. If surface area is going to reduce, definitely the amount of force is going to be reduced, and it's going to acquire a shape which has minimum surface area, and that is nothing but the shape of the droplet you are going to look like. It's similar like the spherical in the nature. So what does it we have to understand, ultimately this particular fluid has the balance, that the total force must be balanced, and that is going to happen when this particular fluid surface or particular fluid is going to be acquire a spherical shape in form of the droplet. So that the one example. Similarly, you see the soap bubbles is also similar like the behavior seems like the because of the surface tension. So the basic difference between droplet and bubbles, so if you see droplet is nothing but a fluid which is contained throughout the sphere. If you are going to choose some liquid, let's suppose that is water. So if you call droplet, if that spherical ball is completely filled with the same liquid. But if you have take the example of soap bubbles, how it's look like, the outer layer is of the soap, inner side is again the air, and outer side is again is nothing but air, and because of that we call that as the bubbles. So bubble and droplet is quite different. So in the bubbles we have inside and outside the air, and in between a thin layer of the or film of the soap. And similarly, if you see in the case of droplet, that droplet is completely filled with the same liquid as its form. So let's go some mathematical calculation to find out if the forces is going to be balanced in any given fluid. So how that fluid is going to we are going to calculate the amount of surface tension which is going to be created, or the amount of surface tension present with that particular fluid. It's definitely a fixed parameter. So once the fluid is you are going to choose, so we are going to find out establish some relationship between the pressure as well as the surface tension. So let's move forward. I am going to choose one droplet and I cut this droplet in half of the part. So because the force is completely balanced, so to observe those forces, if you see the complete sphere, you are not going to get any force, unbalanced force. So I just cut it, and if the complete force is balanced, so it means half part of the force as well as the second half of the force is also going to be balanced. To observe this phenomena, I just cut this droplet into two equal parts. So we call it half droplet. What we are going to call it? Half droplet. So we are already familiar, the surface tension is going to act at the surface of the sphere. So I choose the amount of the surface tension is nothing but sigma. So if the surface tension is sigma, so what is the total length of the surface is going to be exposed to the air, because it's a droplet. So inside the droplet, the complete is filled with the same liquid. And what is the outside? Outside is nothing but it is air. So the complete exposed surface length, that is this circumference of the this particular droplet. So let's choose the radius of this droplet is capital R. So how much circumferential length of this droplet is 2 pi r. So total, because we already familiar, the surface tension force we take at the per unit length. So sigma is nothing but it's a force per unit length. So the total force is going to act on the circumference or the surface of this particular droplet. That is nothing but we call it sigma into circumference of the particular droplet. So that is nothing but sigma into 2 pi r. Next, if you see this droplet, to balance this circumferential surface tension force, the pressure is going to generate inside the droplet. So let that change in the pressure difference, because you can understood that outside has the atmospheric pressure, and definitely this droplet has the pressure which is definitely much more than the atmospheric pressure, then only it's going to survive. If it is not true, definitely this droplet is going to be burst, because if you try to understand, if the outer pressure is high and lower pressure inside the pressure is low, so definitely this droplet is going to collapse. They are not those droplets are not going to be survive. So to understand that, we are going to get the change in the difference of the pressure from the inside to the outside is del P. The change in the pressure or the difference in the pressure from the outside, that is atmospheric pressure, to the inside pressure of the droplet, that is del P. So the pressure act, that is del P. So total force, the pressure force is going to act on these droplets is nothing but del P into this cross sectional area of this particular droplet, that is pi r square. So the pressure force is nothing but del P into pi r square. This extra pressure force, which is excess than the atmospheric pressure, is going to balance this surface tension force. So both force must be equivalent. If it is not true, this particular droplet is not in static equilibrium. So to do so, what we can do, we can just equate both the parameters, the forces developed because of the surface tension and the forces because of the extra pressure built up inside the droplet, that is pi r square into del P. So I given it for droplet 2 pi r into sigma s. So if you just simplify it, what you are going to get? You are going to get that is 2 sigma by r. 2 sigma by r. You can also write that 4 sigma by d. There is nothing wrong in it. And instead of if you have a problem, in this problem, if it instead of radius, diameter is given, so you can directly take this equation to solve the equation by using this 4 sigma by d. You can directly choose the diameter of the droplet to solve the problem. So quite easy for us. So in the same way, we are going to establish if any fluid has a droplet, so that droplet, inside the droplet, it's going to create extra pressure, that del P, which must be equal to 2 sigma by r, or you can also write that is nothing but 4 sigma by d. This much force must be extra pressure must be built up inside the droplet, that is del P is nothing but 2 sigma by r, or you can also write that is nothing but 4 sigma by d. So any of them you can use to find out the extra pressure which is developed inside the droplet, so that this droplet can survive. So that is nothing but 4 sigma by d. Similarly, we can take this case for the bubbles. So if you try to understand what the difference between bubbles and droplet is, nothing but in droplets you have only one surface area exposed to the air, but in bubble you have two different surface area. One is inside is also air, and outside is also air. So two different areas of circumferential length is exposed, surface is exposed to air, and because of that we are going to use this 2 pi r 2 times, because exposed surface area is there for the air. So 2 pi r into 2 into sigma s, this remaining part is exactly same. You can simplify it and you are going to find this change in pressure. If the bubble has to be survived, it must be 4 sigma by r, or you can also write that is nothing but 8 sigma by d. So any one of equation you can use. So you just try to understand these mathematical equation. If you try to explore these two mathematical equation, you can understand that if you want to survive a bubble to be inside the environment, the pressure definitely must be high, because sigma is a fixed parameter. Once you choose the fluid, the sigma is going to fix. For example, I quoted for water, that is 0.0732 Newton per meter. Similarly, we can have the understanding that if the sigma is fixed parameter, so if any bubble has to survive in the environment or in the atmosphere, it has higher pressure, that is 8 times, it's almost 2 times the pressure which is required to survive for a droplet. It's almost twice the pressure required for the droplet. So you can understand or you can see these things in the real life also. If you just try to blow up bubbles, the soap bubbles, that is going to be break very easily by small disturbance. That particular bubble is going to be break down, because it, for the survival, the high pressure inside the bubble is required, which can be disturbed anyway, or very small change can disturb that pressure, and because of that bubble is going to be burst. But the droplet can survive for the longer period of time. So these things we have to understand. What is next? Next is we are going to talk about one problem based on this the phenomena of surface tension. So what the problem is given, you can just go through it. It's given that find the surface tension in a soap bubble of a 40 mm diameter. So the diameter of the soap bubble is given. So two things we have to quote. One is, this is nothing but it is a bubble and the diameter is given directly. So we can use the equation which I developed for the diameter, that is nothing but 40 mm diameter. When the inside pressure is 2.5 Newton per meter square, which is above the atmospheric pressure, it means this bubble is surviving in the environment, and pressure, the change in the pressure or the difference in pressure del P is nothing but that is given 2.5 Newton per meter square, and diameter is given, that is 40 mm. So you can go through it, 40 into 10 to the power minus 3 meter. So what you have to find out? You have to find out the amount of surface tension for this particular fluid is, or for the soap bubble is. So you know, for survival of any soap bubble, the change in the pressure or the difference in pressure is nothing but 8 times sigma by d. So what sigma value that we have to find it out? So you can find out sigma is nothing but the difference in pressure into diameter divided by 8. So what the data is given, that is 2.5 Newton per meter square. So we have to convert all these data into the SI units. So 10 into minus 3 divided by 8. So you can simplify it and you can get the answer. The sigma value is nothing but 0.0125 Newton meter. This magnitude is very small. You can understand. I also quote the surface tension value for the water, that is nothing but 0.0732 Newton per meter. So it's quite a smaller value, and because of that the physicists try to take this magnitude as the new per unit length. Another problem is given here. Let's discuss this problem. The pressure outside the droplet, here the case is we take for the droplet. The previous problem is for the bubble. So here we are going to talk about the droplet. So pressure outside the droplet of a water of a diameter of 0.04 mm, it's very small, you can have a look, is 10.32 Newton per centimeter square atmospheric. Calculate the pressure within the droplet. You have to calculate the pressure within the droplet if the surface tension given is 0.0725 Newton meter for water. So generally we understood there is a different condition for the water. In general NTP, this surface tension magnitude is 0.0732 Newton per meter, but here examiner is already quoting that value is 0.0725. So you just take for your consideration. So you know that change in the pressure is nothing but for a droplet is 4 sigma by d. Here we have to find out the pressure inside the droplet. So what the pressure is outside, inside that we have to find it. What the outside, that means nothing but atmospheric pressure, that is given is nothing but 4 sigma by d. Sigma value is given, diameter is given, the atmospheric pressure is given. You can easily find out the inside pressure. So the solution of the problem is already given, and the net value is 11.045 Newton per centimeter square. So two things you have to just focus when you are solving any numerical problems. You convert all the units in a particular pattern, either in SI or CGS, whatever you comfortable for, you can do it and solve the problem for your convenience. So this is the another problem based on the surface tension. So very easy, and it's very often this problem is going to be asked in the examinations when you go through this subject. Next topic is, अरे कितना मिनट हो गया जी? कितनी देर का हुआ? ये भी है एक टॉपिक, अब अगले टॉपिक स्टार्ट करूंगा. कितना हुआ है? हो गया है तो रोक देंगे अगले. All right, so thank you very much. We are going to conclude for today. We are going to talk in the next class about the capillarity. Thank you.